the door.
Yo, what's up? I'm Santi, aka iSantiago, and today I'm going to be breaking down the track you just heard and showing you everything you need to know to make melodic techno. So, melodic techno is a form of techno which focuses on predominant melodic motifs, along with the traditional techno sound design and arrangement. But there are three things that are used in nearly every single melodic techno track, and I'm going to start off with the first, which is the sound design and the rhythm of our bass. So, melodic techno is known for using acid basses, which use a unique resonance and character, which was really popular back when they were introduced in the late 80s. So, let's show you a pretty simple serum patch to make an acid bass. So what we're gonna do here is initialize the preset. That way we're starting completely from scratch. What we're gonna do here in oscillator A is we're gonna go to analog, and from our analog wavetables we're gonna choose the acid wavetable, conveniently named. What we're gonna do is, what I found sounds really good, is taking the unison and bring it up to about 4 voices. We're gonna lower the detune as well just a bit. And what I found sounds really good is moving it in the wavetable position about right here. And then we're gonna lower it down 1 octave because we are making a bass. Now we're gonna turn on oscillator B and honestly just leave it at this wavetable position. I think it sounds great, the default one, just bring it down an octave. And now here's where we're gonna start to get that unique character. We're gonna turn on our filter, apply it to both A and B, lower that cutoff just a little bit so it starts low in that bass region, and we're really gonna crank up that resonance. You can see that notch starting to form right there. And now on the envelope, we're gonna bring it down into more of a pluck kind of shape. And then we're going to attach that envelope to our cutoff. And just like that, we've got ourselves a really good sounding acid bass. And now from here, you can pretty much add some more effects, distortion, reverb. It's all up to you, but this is a really good building block foundation to get you started. Now, the second thing we've got to look out for in our bass is our rhythm. Melodic techno is known for having basses that are straight 16th notes, but what makes them really interesting is their use of syncopation. So as you can see here with this bass, what we've gone ahead and done is obviously written in straight 16th notes. So if we're going off of that sound that I made earlier, if we create a new MIDI region, you can change your left click tool to the brush tool and literally just write in 16th notes. We're gonna delete that because I already have a bass made. And what we're going to do is choose the notes that don't fall on the beat. And you don't have to follow mine completely. You can go ahead and choose different notes for yourself. But what makes the bass really interesting is that we're taking notes that don't land on the beat and moving them either up an octave or to different notes in the scale. And that way we can get that feeling of syncopation without losing that driving 16th note pattern. So another cool thing to note in this track is that we've layered the bass with 2 different sounds. Of course, the one you just heard was more of a low bass sound that occupies those lower frequencies. And then we've layered that with this mid bass sound, which as you can see, we've cut off the low end so that it doesn't interfere with that bass, but we've also removed a little bit of those high end frequencies. That way it doesn't conflict with the things we're gonna add later on in the track. But the cool thing to note is that we've copied over that rhythm from the original bass, but we've muted the notes that we don't want to accentuate. That way, the ones that are accentuated with this mid bass can give us that feeling of syncopation, but since we have that other bass playing straight 16ths, we don't lose that driving factor that we hear in melodic techno basses. So here's what they sound like together. Alright, so the second and probably most unique thing that I've seen melodic techno producers doing is using one specific chord known as the sus2 chord. So the suspended 2 or the sus2 chord omits the 3rd scale degree of our chord and instead replaces it for a major second. So this major second gives us a more open and unresolved feeling to our chords, which is perfect for adding anticipation or suspense in your build-ups for melodic techno. So you really don't have to go too crazy with your chords. As you can see here, I've got the root note, then I've got the 3rd, and then the 3rd of course is going to that major second right here. Okay, so we can't finish this video without talking about these melodic motifs. So usually the melody in this genre is carried out by either a vocal or a synth, but for this track, we're gonna use a combination of the two. So what I found with a lot of melodic techno tracks is that the sound design of your lead synth can really vary, but the one thing that stays constant is that every producer is adding movement to their synths. So as you can see here, we're automating a macro in Serum, which for this preset, I believe, is really just opening up this filter here. And now this automation is really important because it's what really gives your synth a lot more character than if it weren't to have automation. So let's go ahead and play that for you to see what it sounds like. Alright, so now when you've got a synth and vocals, the thing that you really need to keep in mind is that you can't have those two things clashing since they really occupy a lot of similar frequencies. So one really popular technique, which I'm sure you know by now, is the call and response technique. So basically where the vocal is playing, the synth is not playing. Where the vocal isn't playing, the synth is playing. Let me go ahead and show you what that sounds like. Now, all that's left is to add some drums, and really you don't have to think too hard here. What really matters is your sound selection. So what I'm gonna do for you guys is I'm gonna toss up on the screen some of my favorite splice packs to find those melodic techno drums. That way you don't have to go searching for the right sounds. And if we're gonna dive a little bit deeper, it's really just a quarter note pattern with the kick, and then your auxiliary percussion is going to accentuate those 16th note patterns. So I've got this hi-hat loop here that's playing 16th notes. And it really helps if you take your auxiliary percussion and sidechain them to your kick. That way you can leave a little bit more room for your kick and it, really shines in the mix a little bit more. Alright, so if you learned something from this video, make sure to leave a like as it helps producers just like you find videos like these. And if you want to see more breakdowns of different genres, make sure to subscribe and let me know what you want to see. But for now, let's go ahead and show you the final result.
Open up the door.